I think Leinster are going to squeeze it, but it's going to be a tight contest.
No score, but yeah, we'll take that. No other team in the league scores more tries in the first quarter than these two. I wouldn't be running off to put the kettle on. It's Gavin Duffy and Conor Morris on commentary.
The Connacht side tonight showing 2 enforced changes from head coach Pete Wilkins from the round 4 defeat to Ulster in Belfast last weekend. Darragh Murray comes into that second row to replace Josh Murphy, who's serving a 4-match suspension following the red card at the Kingspan. Mac Hansen misses out, we're told, with a minor hip problem, so David Hawkshaw comes into a reshuffled Connacht backline that sees the Puma Santiago Cordero switch out to the wing and Piers O'Conor drop into the full-back position. Hugh Gavin is poised for his long-awaited senior debut off a conventional 5-3 split bench for the home side. A first Leinster start for the veteran tight head Rabah Slimani in an all-new Leinster front row from that Croke Park win over Munster. All change in the back row also as the emerging Ireland tourist James Culhane returns to Leinster colours for the first time since March. Third start in a row at fly half for Cian Prendergast, and the Osborne brothers both selected as the younger of the two. Andrew makes just his third start. Potential Leinster debuts off the bench tonight too for the former Kilkenny College hooker Stephen Smith and the Leinster Schools Cup winner with Blackrock College Hugh Cooney. 4 wins from 4 so far, the full complement of 20 points for this Leinster side. It was a first quarter blitz of Munster at Croke Park last weekend. A devastating display really of Leinster's all-court game. They're led out this evening by James Ryan, no Keelan Doris. 7 changes, as I said, for Leinster. 3 converted tries it was in the opening 16-minute salvo. Ruthless, blunt-edged attack from Leinster's full metal jacket team selection. Changes this evening, but defence to the fore then against Munster thereafter last week. They didn't score, Leinster, in the second half, and well, their scramble defence at times against Munster almost as impressive as their attack had been. It's been an interesting weekend so far in round 5 of the URC. The Lions won away to Zebra to go second in the table. Bulls beaten in West Wales by Scarlets, Glasgow beaten by the Sharks in Durban, and Munster going down in Cape Town, their first ever defeat at the hands of the Stormers. It's the first of 3 home matches tonight for Connacht, an important run of games, albeit spread across the November international window. Leinster, Dragons, and then the Bulls come to town. Away day derby defeats to Ulster and Munster. Games that Pete Wilkins and the Connacht players will feel they might well have won. They did manage to get 2 bonus points from each of those games, and a similar result tonight, although they wouldn't say it publicly, maybe privately, that will suffice. And if they're to get those, or maybe more, that man Bundee Aki certainly will be to the fore. Alongside the former Leinsterman in midfield tonight, David Hawkshaw, Cathal Forde on the bench. Owen Cross is in charge. Leo Colgan is the TMO, and despite the fact that the renovations and the building work continue, there's a bustling electricity around the Dexcom Stadium tonight. A few additional terracing spots around the ground, and Kieran Frawley in harness alongside Jamison Gibson Park, all set to go.
Let me know, Johnny, when they're ready there.
Big night for both sides. Leinster in terms of that momentum.
Ready, Kane?
Connacht's third interprovincial derby in the opening 5 rounds of the season. They've taken 4 points from the opening 2. They'd love another full complement of 4 tonight, but that's a inauspicious start for Connacht. The kick-off sailing straight over the head of Bundee Aki and 1 point, and it's a brilliant platform. Gavin Duffy inside the opening 30 seconds here for the visiting side Leinster.
Yeah, Connacht having won the toss,
now, Leinster,
opted to play into that wind. The wind has picked up significantly in the last half an hour or so, back into that corner, so Bundee perhaps just caught out with a kind of a floating ball in over his head. But this a formidable task for Connacht tonight up against this Leinster defence, one of the best line-out defences in the league, and that's a good start for David Heffernan.
Try and keep the ball away from Max Deegan. He's been pilfering opposition line-out all season. 6 line-out steals. He couldn't get his mitts on that one. It was a good delivery from Dave Heffernan, one of several Connacht players under the microscope tonight. He could yet have a really important role to play for Ireland across that test window that I spoke about. So many injuries in that position. And this young man, hustle and bustle at the base, Ben Murphy. What a start to the season he's had in Connacht colours. A lot of talk around his meteoric rise as well.
Yeah, and we look at the resources, you know, more than hooker as well, at the issues we have in terms of injuries. At scrum half, you're looking at Gibson Park, obviously Craig Casey, and then, you know, what does the future hold for Conor Murray in this autumn internationals? Someone like John Cooney up in Ulster and Ben Murphy here have been on fire. So there's certainly a third spot there in the Irish camp up for grabs.
Usually belongs to, or it has historically in the recent past, belonged to Caolin Blade. He's on the Connacht bench tonight. We expected that the home side would be fired up, and you can listen to the verbals. Every little energising small win. Leo Cullen pre-match, he said Connacht will come out and they'll be right on the edge, and they have to be. It is an inter-pro.
Left to my mark, yeah.
Yeah, they have to be. This is arguably the one fixture that stands out in the fixture list when it comes out. The home support love it, the Connacht players love it, and probably possibly because there's a few ex-Leinster Academy players as well that are up and coming that have come out west to really grasp their opportunity, no more so than Cian Prendergast, who's led out the team tonight, someone who wasn't deemed, I suppose, suitable at the time to go into the Leinster Academy, but came down here to Galway and has certainly grasped his opportunity to go on and win an Irish caps and being part of emerging tours, etc. So his confrontation with Max Deegan, both playing blindside, is something to look out for tonight.
I need you both to take some off, okay? You're both falling in there? Yeah. Both take some off, please, okay? Let's get it right this time. Patience and stability.
Big potential flashpoint to these front rows. All the experience in the nose and the nuggety grit of Denis Buckley, Dave Heffernan and Finlay Bealham. Well over 600 appearances for the province against the relatively inexperienced, vastly inexperienced by comparison, certainly Jack Boyle, back in Leinster colours for the first time since that foot injury in March of last season. Great to see him back.
Keep it up here.
How will he fare against Finlay Bealham?
9, stay, use it.
Lots of chat in there towards Owen Cross, the referee. Connacht look to play from inside their own 22. That's that lovely bridge pass off the left hand from Ben Murphy. His distribution has been superb all season so far. And Leinster will have their antenna tweaked at every single breakdown for those sniping runs that he makes. He's so electric over 20 or 30 metres. Great take from the ever-reliable Hugo Keenan. That early scrum coming by virtue of the knock-on from this man, Jimmy Osborne. Almost collector's item, a mistake, but better handling this time from Gibson Park, and Osborne is there again. Scrum half gets it back into the hands of Gus McCarthy. Searing break from Leinster. Osborne, the architect of it, into the hands of Jack Boyle. Pumps those legs, fires the quads, uses that bulk and heft that he has, and now they look to swing it wide, just a little bit wide for Keenan, and now it's into the hands of Andrew Osborne. Try on his debut against Zebra, third start this evening. Big tackle. That's that collision that Gavin was talking about just seconds ago between Cian Prendergast and Max Deegan, the two number 6s going shoulder to shoulder. Penalty advantage. Shot to nothing here for Gibson Park. Shrill blast to the whistle and a searing Leinster attack.
What a start from both sides. Connacht looking to play with that early ambition, double miss inside their own 22. But look at that from RG Snyman. He's all the size and all the skills as well. We saw his offload and handling skills last week to the fore. An early pass to Osborne.
On the wrong side, making no
really good scramble defence by Connacht. But again, early indication, both sides here to play. It's a lovely evening. Ahead of a storm forecast the next 24 hours, but it's fine even for playing, and we're getting a great start to this game.
Open up here.
I fancy on reflection, Jamison Gibson Park might have taken his chance to make it to the line on his own there. You think back to the brilliant try he got in round 1 away at the Hive against Edinburgh, not dissimilar to that chance. Gus McCarthy started that game against Edinburgh. Oh, that's a little bit wonky, was it? But Ryan takes it, and now Max Deegan on that little peel, hitting that seam behind the line out, and now they go to Culhan, another player grateful to be back in Leinster colours after a nasty injury.
Okay, leave it now.
Gibson Park. How many times do we see Leinster finish from this kind of position? Snyman is a great option in that situation, but it's Osborne instead. Jamie, that is the inside centre from close range that gets in for the early try inside 6 minutes, and it's Leinster who strike first in the derby in Galway.
And if it wasn't going to be Jamie, it's going to be his brother Andrew. stood out in the left wing all alone as well. They had managed to create the overlap, but they didn't need it in the end, using the big men 4 or 5 metres out from the initial line out. Surprised they actually peeled so quickly off the line out, given Connacht's difficulty against Ulster last week, but they obviously backed their system, and great finish.
Shot clock back on now, Kieran, okay?
Good footwork and a great finish. His brother would have been shouting at him on the outside here. Piers O'Conor had to come in. Andrew was in acres of space outside that, but he didn't need him.
Thank you.
Well, they're the kings of the fast start this season. We saw it last week against Munster at Croke Park. Similar story here in Galway. You've got to try and stay in the fight with Leinster across the opening 10 or 15 minutes, or it could be a long evening. 7 points to the good. We've not yet played 7 minutes.
Yeah, you said it, Conor, that you got to stay in the fight against Leinster. They're so efficient when they get into the opposition 22.
Thank you. All on.
Leinster do offer opportunities. Saw an indication there, Conor taking some of the tactics used by Munster last week, trying to get into that wide channel in the 15-metre channel, so they'll continue to do that. But they got to mind their house as well inside the 22.
Use it! It's brought back in. Blue stay.
There's that big ranging, booming boot. Look at that from Osborne. He just strokes it and it flies.
Yeah, himself and Gibson Parker, the two go-to kickers for Leinster. Most often than not, it's Gibson Parker. When they want to kick long, they use Osborne's left boot.
Yeah.
You want to say unforced error, really, given the experience of Cordero in that situation, but you rarely get an unforced error against Leinster, such as the squeeze that they put you under.
Yeah, and I think more often than not now, you hear teams when they're playing against Leinster, they just want a performance. You know, they realistically, you know, Leinster don't lose too often in a season. Teams just want a performance, because if you don't get a performance, you're going to be on the back foot and it could be a long night.
Didn't look even close to straight, but Leinster got away with it. Look at those limbs of RG Snyman. Now Cian Frawley. Support for Snyman all the time. They just know he's going to break tackles and get his arms free. That time Ringrose pass to Cian Frawley just went awry. Connacht survive for now. Murphy. Finlay Bealham to Bundee Aki. Short pass to the rampaging Dave Heffernan. 2 tries in round 2 against the Sharks. Can they find that width and that space outside that brought quite a few line breaks for Munster last week? Their problem, Munster, really was just finishing them, or their problem, more importantly, was Leinster's scramble defence, which was exemplary.
Use it.
Yeah, I mentioned that's the one area that they went after during the summer. They know themselves that's the weakness or their flaw perhaps in their system, is where they're shooting out and they leave that channel in the 15-metre channel exposed, but they sort out their scramble as well, so they've taken it to a new level this year in terms of the defence for sure.
Penalty Leinster, and an opportunity as we approach the 10-minute mark already to knock this down into the Connacht 22. RG Snyman quickly back to his feet after some minor repairs. He's taken a little bit off that, Cian Frawley. Breeze that Gavin was mentioning is it's Bundee Aki who goes in and makes the tackle on RG Snyman, but you've just got to wrap him up. It's easier said than done, of course.
And then, you know, he's got such long levers. The new law certainly suits someone like RG Snyman as well, where you can only tackle at a certain height. You're never going to go high enough anyway, in any case, I don't think, but it makes it so much easier for him to get the offload.
Got away with one.
It's on the outside shoulder.
Certainly I felt on the far side, didn't get away with that one.
Option.
That wind is buffeting
Outside
around.
shoulder,
It was
not a fair contest.
perfect conditions around an hour and a half ago, but dry, crisp evening.
Yeah, the line-up's going to be a massive challenge for both teams. Like, both teams are renowned for having a great line-out D. You know, you look at the Leinster pack and who they have putting up in the air. They have Max Deegan, who's leading the charts, as you already mentioned, in terms of line-out steals. James Roy and RG Snyman on that list as well. And then from a Connacht perspective, both Joyce and Murray in the second row, and Cian Prendergast very good in the line-out. So there's loads of options on both sides of the ball.
Crouch!
Leinster 1-4 on the Munster throw last weekend at Croke Park. Munster's problems at line-out time continuing down in the DHL Stadium in Cape Town this afternoon, so something systemically wrong there. And Murphy under huge pressure, first from Gibson Park and then from Max Deegan. Certainly had rights to that ball and had hands on at one point. Enjoying a little chat in there with Shayne Bolton, I think it was.
Use it!
Difficult night for box kicking for Ben Murphy last week in Belfast, and that one's come back towards him. He's put his team in a whole pile of trouble here.
Stop there. It's knocked down in the air by Green. It's a scrum blue.
And they're under further pressure here at set piece time again. Connacht of their own making this time, certainly.
Green, scrum blue.
Yeah, I thought they were just about getting away with that one. Great discipline by Gibson Park. Oh, Max Deegan would have felt he had that for sure. He was the first man in. Every right to
time off.
to play it, but you can see the strength of the win there. He gave it a fair belt in fairness, but it came back, right back over the touchline again.
Yeah, okay.
So where are you now for Leinster?
One.
It certainly is.
Just so we'll go forward, give him a good picture.
I thought it was just unstrapping to his hand on the previous intervention by the medics.
I
and
watch
this
his angle too. If you stay
maybe something altogether different.
Right, okay?
It's amazing, you know, his injury profile, and you think he's missed a lot of rugby over the last couple of years. From a Munster perspective, he definitely did, but he played 11 out of 13 matches for South Africa over the course of the last 12 months. That's a huge amount of rugby for a big man in massive games as well. So certainly Munster can feel shortchanged, but South Africa got the best out of him over the last 12 months.
It's the execution. Yes, they should score. Invariably, they almost always do, but if Snyman can't get there, it's the range of options at the disposal of Jamison Gibson Park, and then he puts it on a plate for Jamie Osborne, fires it low, and Osborne is big even for a 12.
Yeah, and you mentioned Jamison Gibson Park. It's his service that have, you know, taken Leinster's attack to a new level over the last couple of years. He himself had felt Ireland was not on his radar, but the level of performance and his consistency as well, and even fitness-wise, he looks a different man compared to 3 or 4 years ago when he first arrived in Leinster. So he's been a huge addition to Leinster and Ireland, and certainly made that number 1 or number 9 jersey his own from an Irish perspective.
Crouch! Point! Set!
18 of their 21 tries have come from set piece, line out or scrum, or restarts indeed. Can they fashion another one here? That's a dainty, dinky little chip over the top. Ball was lost on the ground. Bundee Aki took a little bit of a gamble there. He didn't get any interaction from the referee. Connacht turn over the ball crucially in the shadow of their own posts. 12 minutes in to survive for now, but they need to find a way out. Good, clean exit and rebuild. They're being ambitious. Risk and reward.
Use it!
David Hawkshaw grimacing there, holding his knee slowly back to his feet. High octane stuff, lots of physicality.
Use it, Lloyd!
Nothing else expected.
Stay on, Blue.
I see Ben Murphy. He has Snyman's huge, massive frame in his eye line as well. I'm sure that's pretty off-putting as well.
Green on the line. Okay, lads, take the 22.
But again, similar to Leinster, no one has kicked the ball more often than Ben Murphy from a Connacht perspective, to use his boot from a base of ruck such as that, and he takes a lot of pressure off Ioane as well, especially into this wind. You don't want to go back 10 yards and lose more ground. But it is an indication of how strong that wind is behind Leinster at the moment.
Just needing a little more protection to try and find the space to avoid Snyman. You don't get the time that you once did under the new directives as well. Now then, Gibson Park to Osborne, pulls one at the back to Frawley, to Andrew Osborne in off his wing, looking to get in on the act. Brother already on the try sheet. Oh, it's a brilliant carry from Gus McCarthy. Wonderful line, accelerating through the contact. Leinster looking to strike again. Oh, brilliant from Snyman, out the back to Gibson Park. Look at this from Leinster all the way across towards Max Deegan. Alarm bells ringing, and Ben Murphy in the nick of time, just doing enough to disrupt.
All coming from a set piece as well.
James,
David Hawkshaw just getting a little bit too tight to Bundee Aki. Lovely little loop play. Gibson Park, look at that again, just the vision
Line out.
past it and quite have the length in it.
Okay.
But it's such a feature now in the modern game, I call it the modern game, but just that long pass from nines over the top, because a lot of defences are leaving that last man in that wider channel, kind of going, well, go on, if you're brave enough and accurate enough, go on and throw that pass. And quite often or not, the nines are doing it. We saw Craig Casey down in the Virgin Media Park against Ospreys. We saw similar last week in the interprovincial matches.
Backwards off
Something, a massive feature of scrum half's play at the moment.
Good carry from Will Connors.
Stay 12.
McCarthy into heavy traffic. Bundee Aki disrupting. He is causing untold damage, chaos. In fact, RG Snyman here, and Connacht can't live with it. And it's an easy run in over on that far side for the second try of the night for Liam Turner. But again, it's the intervention of RG Snyman and those go-go gadget arms of his and the offloading style of the South African. Devastating.
Gosh, that's an incredible offload. He just,
that's our call on the pitch, okay?
it's just like a little apple in his hand, and he's just out the back. And what I love about it as well, he's actually looking, he's making eye contact with his receiver as well. It's not just, you know, kind of willy-nilly, and it's not just, I'll give it a go because I can. He's actually making eye contact with Cian Forde as well. He knows where it is. It's so accurate. And then again, 2-on-1, the stuff that Leinster do, it's bread and butter to them, but
it's the kicker,
they make it look so easy.
Yeah, sorry,
identifying space and then just being so accurate in the execution.
Time off. Thank you.
Cian Frawley is receiving some attention, so there'll be a little bit of a break in play before he can, if he's able to take the conversion. As I said at the outset, third consecutive start in that fly half position, and this looks he's going to endeavour to try and run it off, fingers crossed, but there's communications from the medics.
Yeah, but you're getting up on the run, so just be careful.
A player who just so badly needs a run of 10, 15 games in that position, consistency. We all know the potential he has. Nice moment for Liam Turner to run in that try, but
that's our job. I understand your frustration.
They're going to find themselves further behind here, Connacht.
Just work with us on those, Keane, and trust that if it's clear, we'll get them.
It's just hard to live with Leinster when they're in this ruthless mood.
Yeah, a lovely moment for Liam Turner. He scored a try against Connacht back in New Year's Day, back in 2023, so he's a knack of scoring tries against the men from the West. This is a worrying sight. In some pain there straight away, I think.
Yeah. We do a sub? Yeah.
He's trying to walk it off, it seems, is he? Or we're giving him every chance.
Gary Ringrose is getting ready to take the kicker, at least he was. Instead, it is a change.
Yeah. Substitution for Leinster.
Huge implications for Leinster and potentially for Ireland, and it's so bitterly disappointing for Cian Frawley. Let's hope that it is not too serious.
What a moment it was from during the summertime. Last minute drop goal down South Africa. An incredible moment. And he's had a few big moments like that. So he will be a loss. You just hope it's not going to be too long. But then one guy's misfortune is another guy's opportunity, and up steps Ross Byrne.
Straight about his business with a minimum of fuss, and it's the extras added to that Liam Turner try. But the significant downside to that second score as we watch Turner dot down, that injury to Cian Frawley. Just looking at him, he's still loitering at the side of the pitch, trying to put a little bit of weight on what looks to be that right ankle potentially. Anyway, any news we will pass it on to you as we get it. James Culhane.
It's brought back in. Blue weight in front now, weight in front.
That boot of Osborne.
Oh,
Tactical, territorial. It's so good to have in the arsenal. Him and James Lowe in the same side. It's very useful in terms of kick meters and just turning Connacht back around, having got that second try. Haven't fired a shot in attack yet, Connacht. All defensive action.
And you can see Leinster as well. You know, every single ruck is an opportunity. That's so dominant in their defensive tackles and going forward, that every single ruck is contested.
Murphy once more to Ioane, forging that partnership at 9 and 10. It'll take time to find its feet. Strong from Hawkshaw. Cohan in there again. Murphy. Ioane has to try something a little different. That's read pretty well by Gary Ringrose. Now Hugo Keenan, he picks his way past the would-be challenge of Santiago Cordero, playing out of position on that left wing this evening. More often comfortable at fullback, and Jimmy Osborne now. Good cover tackle. Had to be. Connacht having to make a lot of tackles here.
And then when they turn over the ball, then look at this, you know, their energy is, kind of gets dipped when you're ball in play for so long. You turn it over, you're inside your own 22, playing into the wind.
Okay, don't pull one.
I think as forwards, we asked him to make sure he finds touch with this one.
It's a big kick, really, isn't it, for young Ben Murphy? Touch will do. He's not happy with it.
No, but he just needed to find touch there. Connacht to soak up a lot of pressure. You know, they started off, Piers O'Conor had made it back to the 40, but within 3 or 4 phases, they were back within their own 22 against this blue wave and D. And that's that long pass I spoke about a few minutes ago.
Okay, open up, Finlay. Thank you.
It's so hard to defend against because you have to mark up. You don't want to give anyone a break down the middle, and yet, you know, the accuracy and the speed of the pass more than anything else is what beats the defenders.
Fair cut, this for me there. Ball.
Snyman high above everyone else.
One stop, 9.
Sets up the latest opportunity for Leinster here. Osborne, what a start to the game he's had. Ross Byrne now to Hugo Keenan. Lovely fend on Santiago Cordero. Gets his pass away to Liam Turner, hugging that right touchline and now about to be bundled over it.
Better D there again by Connacht. It was a very similar move, wrap around that they'd worked a few minutes ago. That led to the second try. You can see it here again, this time to go out. One channel further to Hugo Keenan. Good scramble D. Good tackle by Piers O'Conor. He's been very effective for Connacht since he's come in. Piers O'Conor joined from Bristol during the year. Real utility player as well. Plays centre, wing, full back tonight. Really good footballer. Hasn't been capped at international level, Conor, but could actually play for 4 different countries.
Is that right?
His mum is an Aussie, his dad is Irish, his grandparents are from New Zealand. So he has loads of options.
Nomak Hansen is the reason, really, that Piers O'Conor finds himself at full-back this evening. Interesting choice, and Santiago Cordero on that left wing. So injury woes mounting up for Ireland. We spoke about the importance of this match for Dave Heffernan with the catalogue of injuries in the hooker position that Andy Farrell has. Dan Sheehan, Ronan Kelleher, Rob Herring and Tom Stewart up at Ulster.
Fair enough. Okay, time back on.
Yeah, you feel like this is a big audition for Dave Heffernan, and particularly in the line-out. Hookers is kind of the spotlight is on them for that moment of the game, and Connacht have had a decent line-out this year, over 90% success, and that's down to David Heffernan's good throwing as well as good movement in the line-out and good option
4
taking.
gets back onside, but 2 doesn't. Number 2 offside.
How badly do you feel that Connacht needed the shrill blast of Owen Cross's whistle there just to give them a penalty and try and get up towards their own 10-metre line even? Yeah. And once again, that's evidence of that strengthening breeze.
No, 2.
Down at pitch level, we're very much protected from it up here in the makeshift commentary position as the renovations continue around us. But it's obviously blowing much heavier down there. Kicking has been a little bit of an issue so far for Ioane, both from the kicking tee and from hand at times.
Open up. This is the last warning. Next one will be a free kick. Yeah. Yes, I'll get them in. Okay, Green, in and form, please.
Yeah, Leinster saying they can't form the line out. I don't know where the space is because Connacht are walking in late. Such good line-out defences, as I mentioned. It's every line-out is contested. You don't want to give the opposition any early indication of how you're lining up or where the ball is going to go.
Retreat, Green!
It's a real problem now for Connacht. They just can't clear their lines. That was a brilliant wrestle won by Cian Prendergast against RG Snyman. Connacht don't really profit from it. Their kicking game has gone AWOL in the opening 20 minutes. Oh, charge down here, real opportunity. Easy score for James Ryan. Referee's whistle is gone. He wants to check something, but it's the second row and the captain that, for now at least, has got Leinster's 3rd try of the evening.
Field decision is try for me, Johnny. I just want to make sure that the last player who blocked the ball was 5 and not the player behind him, and that he was then in an offside position. Okay, Leo, coming to you.
Okay, Crossy.
On-field decision is try. Just want to make sure that the player who scored the try wasn't in front of the last player who blocked the kick.
Okay, stand by, please, Crossy.
Thank you.
It'd be an accidental offside if that was
Just
the
give us
case.
some space, Keith. Thanks.
Good referee.
Yeah,
any doubt at all? Because this really could have a huge impact on the game. 21-0. I think you need another angle from there.
Deflected onto the player. Yeah.
Yeah. So James Ryan seems to get the first touch.
No problem. Yeah. Yeah.
I think going across just once, one more look at this to be sure.
Yeah. They are the angles, Leo.
This could be the best angle here. First touch perhaps off James Ryan, then against James Culhane, then back into James Ryan, who looks like he's in an offside position at that point. So
okay, Leo, you can come back to me, so I'm happy with all those angles.
Okay, Crossy, stand by 1 sec.
Yeah.
Kev, can you go back to Crossy, please?
Okay, so Leo, it's pretty clear to me in that angle that initially ball is back by blue 5. It's then hit off number 8 accidentally, and then 5 has played it in front of him, so it's accidental offside. We overturn our decision to give a scrum to green. Do you agree with those facts?
Agreed, Crossy, yes.
Yeah. No
so
try.
It's a reprieve for Connacht. Took us a while to get there, but it's no try for
because the player,
James Ryan.
Has been deflected into the player.
Yeah, and you don't mind if it comes to the right conclusion. And that was good refereeing by Owen Cross. He had an inkling that something wasn't right.
Number 8 hasn't intentionally played it. Okay, so scrum. Yeah.
Good refereeing. But again, you just see how hard it is for Connacht to get out of this left-hand corner.
So you've blocked the ball, but it's hit off the player who hasn't intentionally played it. It's accidental offside when you play the ball. It's the scrum to green. Yes, absolutely.
Well, it's a let-off for now.
Okay. Yeah.
It's also the wrong option, really. You're absolutely under the pump, and to try a little audacious kick over the top is
keep working.
That's not a roll of a dice that's going to pay dividends every day of the week.
No, well, Ben Murphy had done well. The kick he put up had gone straight up in the air, and he caught it himself. But I suppose that little indecision then when 9 wasn't there, Ioane probably thought, well, I better take control here.
Set.
Free kick is the decision.
I need more stability from me on the setup, please.
And when you're nitpicking at Leinster and trying to find where the weaknesses from to attack them, that's certainly an area I think Connacht will go after again later on in the game, or right throughout this game. Certainly have the more experience of the 2 front rows, but it's an area that Leinster have. Oh, that's another mistake by Ioane.
Seized upon by Liam Turner. Routine error. Just unforgivable in the circumstances and the problems that Connacht are making of their own volition, because Leinster will bring loads anyway. You can't add to the pile. Another good carry by Jack Boyle. Ross Byrne then flat to Culhane. That injury last season that he picked up actually in the game against Connacht. Josh Ioane, secondary indecision before he makes the choice to run into James Ryan. Comes with a health warning of its own. That's better.
Great carry by Paul Boyle. He's been back to his best over the last couple of weeks. That's what he's good at. Getting Connacht over the gain line on the front foot. But again, you see within an instant then Leinster are back on top and in control indeed again.
2-on-2 this side. Bundee Aki tries to get it out to Shayne Bolton. Looked for all the money in the world to knock on.
Yeah, referee called. I think Bundee had put it backwards, but it came off the blue
backwards
defender.
Blue players.
Gibson Park isn't happy with that one. Still questioning it.
Use it.
More aggression in the last couple of carries from a Connacht point of view. Oh, Hawkshaw almost died a little bit on its way out to Cordero, who's immediately swapped Murphy with 2 options on that short side. Denis Buckley.
They have space out here. Shayne Bolton is in space, but just haven't got the connections in midfield to get it to him.
Darragh Murray couldn't get his hands away, and then Sean O'Brien. Second game in succession for him on that open side flank. Josh Ioane, plenty of encouragement from the terracing around us, from the Connacht fans. Sensing really that their team threatening to break out of their own half. That's another miscued kick, this time from the Puma Cordero.
Wait, 9.
Hugo Keenan on the bounce of this. He's just given that a fraction too much.
Right idea though. Cordero had left that space behind him after a poor kick. Keenan spotted it, but just got the wrong bounce for a ball to the left-hand side of the
time off.
The try flag, the corner flag. That's Paul Boyle back to his best. Capped by Ireland a number of years ago, had a few injury issues. But when he keeps his game nice and simple like that, he's a hard man to bring down. Good footwork by Ioane. You could argue that's why he's in the game, in the team, perhaps, to bring that little bit of X factor in attack. But you know, he's got to nail the basics as well. It was his missed kick that has led to this. Another flurry of Leinster attacks. You know, it adds up. You're taking down big men constantly in D. It's not where you want to be against this Leinster team.
Are you opposed to me?
I understand it's a bit of fun between you before the game, but trust me, I will clear what the boundaries are of players. Thank you. Eddie, you all right?
That's okay to have a little bit of friendly banter back and forward in the heat of battle as well.
I think it's stable at the start, and then there's a bit from me. So let's just keep standard side. Yeah. Just keep our
Jimmy
feet as well,
Osborne, he looked so comfortable last week at Croke Park in the white heat of a really big interprovincial derby in front of 80,000 plus people. It's easy to forget that he's still a young player finding his way in the game, but he can play anywhere.
Yeah, he's played it centre, wing, full back. He's a big man as well, you know, he packs a punch in that 12 jersey.
992 kicking metres before tonight in the season. Gets his team up the pitch, 53 carries as well. Connacht need that penalty as well.
Number 3, causing downward pressure. Keep our elbow high.
That's where the release of pressure could come from if they had a scrum. They had a couple of dominant scrums so far, and that's the first time they got a real reward from it.
Keep that right arm up for me, please. 51. Front man now, space, please, Leinster.
So field position and territory acquired in enemy territory for the first time. Opportunity now for Dave Heffernan.
Backwards.
Off the hand of Joe Joyce, just ahead of RG Snyman. Leinster turnover.
No clear lift from 2.
They've not got a single cent of change out of Leinster so far. Sweeping low wiper crossfield kick into the hands of O'Conor. Shifts it on now to Cordero.
Off feet now.
Slimani over the ball, but he's off his feet. Oh,
let's walk back
risky.
There,
Snyman pops it up to Culhan. Jamison Gibson Park elects this time to kick. There is a lot of space in the backfield over on that far side. Connacht up high on that side. Cordero.
Okay, 7. Use it, 9.
Back into a similar situation where they've spent the lion's share of the opening 28 minutes here. Is there a little bit of space for Hawkshaw, potentially? Murphy now. Bundee Aki, clean pair of heels that time to Andrew Osborne. Similar situation in the physical stakes between Shayne Bolton and Ross Byrne first off. Hugo Keenan much more of a speed bump that time, but that's great physicality from Bolton. Players need to grind, and Leinster do release. Ioane, again, his first option is to try and get flat to the line, keep ball in hand and bring in his teammates. And that's just one of those handling errors. But playing the 9 is the decision. Connacht gets a let off really of a penalty.
Played the 9, affecting quality of ball.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if Josh Ioane knew it was penalty advantage or he played it and knocked it on, going to say, yeah, we'll go back to the penalty.
Yeah,
either way,
can't play him
another
there,
opportunity for Connacht. They missed the last line out. An opportunity to build pressure on Leinster. They're playing a lot of ball in their own half. They've got to win their own set piece now inside Leinster's half. Great carry by Shayne Bolton, though, isn't it?
Okay, just open up.
He's a big man, and he gets going. Tough to bring down. He'd no right really to get from 2 yards from the touchline well into Leinster's half. You can see a little bit of frustration in the coach's box as well.
Yeah, it's got to be better than that, really.
Just not clicking at the moment for them.
9 defenders beaten against Ulster and Belfast last week for Cian Bolton. Oh, Finlay Bealham.
Catch for me. Just a knock on.
Inviting Max Deegan through. Cordero presses the accelerator, brought to ground by Gary Ringrose. Deliberate knock on brings penalty advantage. 10 minutes to half time.
Penalty advantage.
Scramble, scrapping, Hawkshaw. Now it's O'Conor.
But just look at Leinster's ferocity at the breakdown as well. And that scramble they spoke about last week. Just when you think you have them on the back foot, someone goes in and contests it and slows the whole thing down again.
Still playing penalty advantage.
Ben Murphy at the bottom of that particular ruck and taken on by Darragh Murray.
You're happy there's cover, yeah? Yes. There's outside defenders for me, that's nothing more than a penalty. Okay. Okay, it's a deliberate knock on. We have covered us, it's a penalty only.
Good interaction there between the touch judge and the referee as well. I think Owen Cross initially said he played the ball, he had no issues with it. Another mistake again from a Connacht perspective, and Josh Ioane missing touch again.
That's a big mistake. You can do nothing if you can't get your kicking game right. And they do have Cathal Forde on the bench. I would be surprised if there isn't a reshuffle of sorts, certainly at half time.
Use it!
Yeah, it's just hugely demoralising for the whole team. That, you know, the shoulders will go down, energy gets sapped. It's in your control. Hit the touchline, allow your team to build the pressure. But again, they find themselves back inside their own half now. Again, just playing off scraps really and trying to create something from nothing.
Having to work so hard. Well, this is the other side of his game that he does bring Josh Ioane, and he needs to make it count. By way of redemption, really sets something up for Connacht here. Look at the space in front of Seán O'Brien, rampaging through towards that Leinster 22. Hands on the floor. Will Connors will feel he had rights to the ball. Referee says otherwise, but that's a shred, a chink of light for Connacht.
Brilliant by Josh Ioane. You know, you get criticised for missing touch, but it was his line break here. He was so sharp since he's joined Connacht this year. That's why he's in the team. But Will Connors here. Be interested to have another look at this now. Oh, and that look. He got to his feet first. He was in first. Looks like his hands on the ball. Could be a tough call against Will Connors there, but Connacht won't care for that, and they'll have to win their own lineup now.
Well, they've had to work incredibly hard to get this far up the pitch. Can they make it count? Darragh Murray takes it, and away goes Paul Boyle. 2 or 3 metres shy of the line. It's Andrew Osborne who brought him to ground. Ball coming back slowly, very, very slowly on that Connacht side, into the hands of Joe Joyce.
Onside blue.
Pretty efficient against Ulster from this kind of range, this kind of situation in Belfast last week. On they go again. Queuing up. Finlay Bealham can't quite get there. Bundee Aki might just, you know. Half a metre short. Denis Buckley just fires one to the left-hand side and they get in. Connacht crash over for the try. One of their first salvos into the Leinster 22, and it's Seán O'Brien, heavily involved initially with that break through the Leinster line, who gets the try.
Well, sometimes you got to roll with the punches, and if you stand on your feet, you can stay in the fight. And Connacht, wow, they're staying in this fight. What a line out. Paul Boyle again rumbling forward. It looked like they were getting slow ball, not really progressing anywhere, but Bundee Aki came close. And then good patience. Denis Buckley with the feed. Good body height again, just getting over. He'll be a happy man. Again, another one who went through the Leinster Academy, had a stint in the USA with the LA Gilintes. Connor, you might correct me on that one, but
That's good for me.
That's good for you. That's good for me. So, but since coming to Connacht, he offers something different. He's very powerful, fast back rower. And he'd be delighted with that touchdown. That'll get Cordero's high-speed meters up. His GPS.
Oh, will it hold its line? No. Well, he was heavily involved in that initial bust up the pitch with that line break. Such an important score given the context of the game and how under the pump Connacht find themselves.
But they've hung in there, Connor. It's 14-7, 14-5 now. Stand corrected, 14-5. Could easily have been 21-0 with James Ryan's try being clocked off. So every team has a purple patch. They've managed to withstand it there. Similar to Munster, can they get themselves back in the game now and start building on that score?
I'm thinking back to the Sharks game a couple of weeks ago when last we were here, and Connacht got off to a great start, scored an early try through Dave Heffernan, and then contrived to concede 27 points in 18 minutes. Turned that around in the second half with 29 unanswered points to win the game, a pulsating contest. So comeback kings of sorts.
It is, but it was interesting how Leo Cullen even referenced it in his pre-match interview as well, that every team seems to be looking for that 80-minute performance. I think teams are having their purple patches, and Leinster and Connacht very similar in that regard.
Okay, green hold.
Scoring early, scoring big scores, and then just not quite clicking then for certain periods of the game.
Osborne again, always available, always running intelligent, threatening lines. Dare I say that one slipped out of the vice-like grasp of R.G. Snyman on that occasion.
Energy up in Connacht as well. You can hear them celebrating now in terms of that little victory as well. Knock on.
No, it's on the whistle.
Good chop tackle by Finlay Bealham. But again, that intent from R.G. Snyman to offload. You know,
yeah.
I think it will take a while. I think for his Leinster teammates to get used to his intent to offload every single time. Ordinarily that's just a ruck and you go and hit it and you clean out Bundee, but
no,
not with that man on the pitch.
Set left.
You have to have your hands up and eyes up every time he has the ball.
I don't want to see you dropping that right shoulder, okay?
Enjoyed his
high,
try at Croke Park last week against his former team. All smiles when he was eventually taken off as well amid mixed reception, shall we say. 5 tries and 8 URC starts for Munster last season. Pretty good stats as well. Sometimes go under the radar. R.G. Snyman, all 6'9" of them. Oh, Leinster penalty here.
Different picture that time. Hinging under pressure.
Story of Leinster's season, really, at scrum time. It's
number 1 hinge under pressure.
Topsy-turvy to say the least.
Yeah, and then it's interesting how referees approach the scrums like that. You know, he spent the 20 seconds before the scrum asking Slimani for, paint a good picture, have your right shoulder up, don't want to penalise you a second time. Within 2 seconds then he penalises Denis Buckley.
Green, just open up here, please.
So it's ever-changing picture for referees as well in terms of the setup and who's infringing, who's staying on the right side of the law for him as well.
Thank you. They're good. They can play at 6.
All important final couple of minutes before half-time. Those so-called championship minutes. How many times do we see Leinster score before and after half-time? McCarthy to the front. They mix it up and go to Max Deegan. Maul defence was conspicuously absent in Belfast against Ulster, who plundered for 4 tries last week. This one a little different from Leinster. Gary Ringrose, who's shipped a really heavy tackle there from Bundee Aki. Gibson Park, here come Leinster, blue wave. James Ryan. Ross Byrne, lots of options. Hugo Keenan, can he get there? Important intervention from Bolton. For how long? Didn't go forward. R.G. Snyman is in. Leinster get the try. Lots to unpack there, all happening. Connacht will insist that that's looked at again.
Well, people just seem to freeze in the moment. Gibson Park, I think, was looking for a penalty at one stage. referee call, it went backwards. But again, just, ooh, Bundee.
It's that awkward tackle, isn't it, initially? But here, is there a knock-on?
If it's a knock-on, it's from Shayne Bolton, I'd guess, from first initial thoughts. Plays the 9. Yeah, went backwards. Snyman, look at that. Great skills, great hands, just what an athlete he is.
He is an absolute menace.
Kind of crowd don't like it, but that's a great score for Leinster in terms of timing as well. Right on stroke of half-time. Byrne will take the full allocation of seconds here to make sure it goes into half-time, but that's a killer blow for Connacht. 14-5, having just hung in the game for so long, playing into that wind as well, would have been a good return.
He takes a lot off that smartly, wisely, sagely, kicks it low into the breeze in Galway. Well, that is a big score from the marquee player and one of the standout players in the opening 40 for Leo Cullen's Leinster side, and they go into the sheds much the happier of the two sides with a scoreline that probably more accurately reflects their first half dominance. Connacht 5, Leinster 21 at half-time in Galway.
Points out of 20 in the league so far. They want to make that 25, but we're still 40 minutes to play here. Let's head over to Conor Morris and Gavin Duffy.
Almost all set to go. Owen Cross is happy. Josh Ioane turning round now with the benefit of a significant breeze at his back. It's a wind. There's a storm coming tomorrow from midday on. Orange warnings, red warnings.
It's brought back
the
inside.
Early warning was there from this Leinster side, out of the blocks very quickly again for the second week running. Pegged back by that really important Sean O'Brien try. Connacht by no means out of it. As I said, they turned around out of the fight altogether against the Sharks and then scored 29 unanswered points. You're not going to do that against this Leinster side, but if they can score first here, they'll get huge belief from it. But it's a Leinster penalty inside 40 seconds.
Yeah, you look for a big start from a Connacht perspective, but Will Conor's first man on the ball, referee says. Oh, he's so good at that. A man who's had a tough couple of years with injury, and then obviously the likes of the back row that I was going to start naming them, but where do you end when you start naming the Leinster back row that have jumped him in the queue?
Okay, Keane,
another man, Scott Penny, another man coming in behind him as well. So,
take the 10, okay.
But he's a hugely talented player, renowned for his chop tackle ability, especially against those bigger teams. He's been used to good effect, but his bread and butter is that kind of opportunity in the breakdown. When he sniffs it, he's first man in, winning penalties.
Felt he might have had one just before half-time, didn't get the decision, got that one. Yeah, as I mentioned, midway through the opening half, we are really closeted from the wind up here in the commentary position at the Dexcom, and it's getting stronger and stronger. The storm's coming early, it seems. You saw it even on the Ross Byrne kick from the penalty, only made about 15 metres.
You stay nice and high for me. Let's get our head and shoulders up again, okay? Thank you.
Perhaps take back some of that criticism we were aiming towards Josh Ioane in the opening 40. There you go.
Crouch!
Yeah, and the lads mentioned at half-time as well, it's an area that Leinster have been quite poor at so far this season. When you consider the signing of Salami as well as tight head, it's quite a concern when he's such a big signing and experienced player as he is, being with Stade Francais, Clermont, obviously.
Let's get the standards better now, okay?
French international as well. You know, when he's leaking penalties on top of Porter and Furlong as well, having issues in that department. It's a worrying aspect for Leinster, considering they're going to be facing bigger packs than this Connacht one as well when it gets down to the business end towards the end of the season.
Crouch! Bind!
9 years at Stade Francais, 6 or 7 at Clermont, 50+ caps for France.
Okay, use that.
Slimani twisting and turning, always real interesting battle with Denis Buckley there, but Bundee Aki now gets his levers free and gets Connacht rampaging onto the front foot. David Hawkshaw, good carry. Murphy under pressure. It was on the arm of the scrum half, so that's legal. And it's turnover, and it's Gibson Park. Jack in the box, sprinting into the 22.
Forward pass.
Forward it goes from the Leinster scrum half. Connacht scramble defence now deep inside their own 22, inside the opening 4 minutes of this second half, having been on the front foot and had one of those precious line breaks that they require so much in this second half. Murphy now again hurried and harried and pressured, an advantage over.
It was a great scramble tackle by Dave Hawkshaw, but it was again Will Connors who got in over this ball. But watch Gary Ringrose.
Okay, one in.
He was the second man in. Good discipline here. As Gary Ringrose just on that ruck before that, though, that got the counter ruck, came through the middle, and then Gibson Park. Ball in hand, but Dave Hawkshaw, that's a great scramble back. Dave Heffernan on his shoulder as well to clean up the loose ball.
Yeah. So a couple of changes incoming for Leinster here. Andrew Porter is coming in. There he is, front lifter for James Ryan there. So Jack Boyle has gone off.
Don't change, 5.
Tom Clarkson for Rabah Slimani as well. So Leo Cullen wants to see a change of picture there. Robin McBride 2 at scrum time.
Tackle now, 12.
Ireland teammates Bundee Aki and Gary Ringrose have their own private wrestling match. Culhan's carried well tonight on his return to the team, long awaited. Andrew Porter certainly won't set Leinster backwards. Ross Byrne flat and then tucks it out to Ringrose, and then Hugo Keenan accelerating into the space in front of him. Options on both sides. Liam Turner there for Gibson Park. RG Snyman again.
Yeah, stay there. Good work, 4.
Again, he occupies the attentions of 2, if not 3 Leinster players. Culhan again, flat to the line, back to the side from whence they came. Andrew Osborne a long way in off that left wing.
Leave it, 5.
Slow ball, there's a Connacht hand in there.
Can't reward. Off your feet.
No penalty advantage though. RG Snyman, Gary Ringrose stepping inside Hawkshaw. Heffernan can't quite get into the jackal position. Andrew Porter, 3 carries inside 60 seconds or so. Ross Byrne to Will Connors. Blue scrum cap hits the line, taken to ground by Bundee Aki.
Put him there now.
Relentless, camped inside the Connacht 22. Changing the angles, changing the pictures. So many options. Ross Byrne, oh, that's an errant pass, but sometimes the bounce pass is so difficult to defend. Max Deegan should get that down, and he does. Deegan in the corner, bonus point try up 5 minutes into the second half.
It's just relentless, and it's just the pace that they're coming onto the ball as well. The pace from Gibson Park's passes. Fortuitous bounce pass there to Max Deegan. But again, it's just the options they have, and this man is central to everything. What a signing he's been. He could be the final piece of the jigsaw. And that's even with Jody Barrett still to arrive in the country as well. And the bounce pass is actually, I'm not so sure if he did that on purpose, because the way, look at it, the trajectory of his hands there. That's not the way you'd normally pass a ball. He bent the knees. I'd be interested to ask him afterwards, was that on purpose? Because he spotted the Connacht defenders shooting off the line, showed in the air you could get a hand to it. That's a clever play by Ross Byrne if he did mean it, and a good finish by Max Deegan.
Well, he knew there was a bit of heat coming on him. Certainly Piers O'Conor doing his level best to disrupt, but a good awareness, good finish from Deegan. He's made a brilliant start to the season. That all-important first score of the second half then goes to the visitors. And the wind takes effect and makes it almost improbable from that acute angle on the far side. Big score for Deegan.
Yeah.
That's a lot of daylight now between the sides at 21 points.
Massive score, and it goes on the back of the score just before half-time as well. And all of a sudden, from 14-5 down, if you get into the change rooms, come back out again, you feel like you're in a game. But 26-5 now, it's a huge, huge ask for Connacht. They really do need to score next and score early.
Wait. 20. Use it. Sorry.
First receiver is Snyman. It's too easy for him. He's playing a different game. Gus McCarthy read it all day long. Gibson Park back inside to his hooker. Numbers on the outside. Gus McCarthy might have given it there. James Ryan in close attendance. It may not matter in the final analysis. The Osborne brothers combine, and then Bundee Aki collides with the younger of the two, and the ball is in touch on that far side, and I think it's Andrew clutching his shoulder.
He looks like he's getting up, but yet again, R.G. Snyman. It reminds me of that movie,
Yes.
Space Jam, Michael Jordan, and they're playing against massive men, and it's just against like boys,
For me, I felt he got
men
back
against
on
boys
side
at times out there for R.G.
material,
Snyman. Oh, what a tackle by Bundee Aki.
It'll
That
be
is
looked.
huge
Yeah, we're happy
impact.
to tackle there too.
Leo Colgan, the TMO, in communication with Owen Cross. He's got to get this absolutely perfectly or he's in big trouble. The contact's on the chest, initially at least.
Initially, at least, Conor. I think that's could be
Yes.
the most important aspect of
It's
that.
been cleared. It's okay.
Yeah. But watch this.
Line out to green.
Look at that. And it's the awareness as well of Gus McCarthy and the acceleration he's shown as well to get through that gap. Gibson Park. But it has to be said, Connacht scrambled that's 2 or 3 times, 4 times in this game where they've been
All right.
right under the pump, all hands on deck,
Lockdown.
and they've come up with an answer. But you feel it's going to take its toll. They can't keep giving up those line breaks like that.
Green light out. Green light out.
So
Green
Connacht ball. Execution, pinpoint from Bundee Aki.
I'll give you time.
Andrew Osborne
numbers,
still
lads.
feeling it.
2. The card numbers is 2. 3. No. You want 2? Yes. 2 in the line out. 1 go.
Joe Joyce takes Murphy. Connacht peg back once again right to their own try line.
Use it. Okay,
It's
green
better,
stop in
it's
front
quicker,
now.
gives Ioane a
Hold
little
on,
bit
yeah.
more time, and there, look at that for a kick. Wow, that's huge, massive, all the way up to halfway from deep back on his own try line. That's a real confidence boost for the number 10. Miles behind his own try line.
Halfway.
That's a massive kick.
Halfway.
And you feel he
Connacht,
needs a
you're
big
on the line.
40. Cathal Forde obviously on the bench. Jack Carty sitting patiently for his opportunity as well. You feel he needs a big 40 to get his
7.
team on the front foot and get them back in the game. Look at that, 10 carries, 4 offloads, 1 defender beaten. Try to his name. He's made a huge impact.
And continues to do so at line-out time. I tell you what, if you're a Leinster player, your first thought in attack is just stand close to R.G. Snyman. Right or left, he'll give you the ball, make you look pretty good. And certainly not found wanting defensively, Connacht, for physicality and scramble.
No, it's very unlike Leinster though to go straight across the pitch and into touch.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those cheap turnovers that
Just hold him there, Johnny, a second.
are so avoidable. Just step back in off your outside foot, step back in off that touch line, get back into safety. It's an unusual turnover for someone like Liam Turner to give up. But again, as you mentioned though, it is a good scramble D from Connacht. They're hanging in there, but the scores on the board they need. He'd be happy with 2 coaches for now.
The last load I heard 6 and 7. And if you only bring tempo,
Not their troubles on their travels, so to speak, last season, particularly at the back end of the campaign. Leo Cullen and Leinster lost their last 4 in a row at the back end of the season last season. But as I've mentioned, their stats stack up pretty favourably against Connacht. 112 of the last 14 against Connacht since that final way back in 2016. Did win a big game at the RDS, if memory serves, on a frozen pitch in January of 2021. Jack Carty, the aforementioned by Gavin Duffy, scored 25 points, I think, that night, but they've lost 9 in all competitions, 2 in Europe since then.
Yeah,
Jack Carty gave a masterclass that night. Kicking, ball in hand, he chipped over the top on one occasion, caught it himself. We got the full display of what Jack is capable of on that occasion.
Yes, so Thomas is the mark. Come on.
So Denis Buckley okay to resume. We saw a couple of changes coming on the Connacht side. Niall Murray togged and ready to come in. 1 or 2 others potentially.
It's brought back inside.
At the second attempt, Hugo Keenan. Oh, there was a gap there. That's a timely shut of the door from Finlay Bealham. Scragged his man well.
Okay, attacker.
Gus McCarthy has lost that in contact. I was just about to say he's carried really well this evening.
Yeah, Bundee felt he had every opportunity and every right there to rip the ball in the tackle, but the knees were already on the ground, and once the knees hit the ground straight away, you have to release the ball, even if you're in a dominant position and in the process of ripping the ball out of their grasp. You have to let go, let the player go to ground and set up the ruck.
Put Creed on the line.
Talk about Dave Heffernan. Gus McCarthy is certainly part of the conversation around potential international honours in the near future, given the injury problems. He's still only 21, but he's been a really big player at every level. Captain virtually every team he's played for at every age grade.
Ball into 5. One stop.
Leinster win another one of his line-out deliveries. Peter Dooley it is for Denis Buckley, and then Jack Aungier for Finlay Bealham. Oh, that one's gonna skew. Backtracking Turner takes it.
Step back.
Hawkshaw again makes another good tackle. There is that other switch in the second row. So Niall Murray has come in for Joe Joyce.
Okay, 18, leave the 9 now, leave it.
Another good tackle by David Hawkshaw in the middle of all that. He has a habit of playing well against Leinster. Max Deegan, bonus point try scorer for Leinster. Bonus points in each of the previous 4 victories so far this season. Edinburgh Dragons, Benetton and Munster. Ross Byrne. No way through for Thomas Clarkson. Snyman. Again, he's just changing the picture and forcing Connacht to think on their feet there as to which way he will go. He has the full range of pass when he gets that arm free. Paul Boyle.
Use it!
This is the difficulty for Connacht. They're just not getting the ball back in the right areas. So when they do get it, they're forced to kick it. It's just going too long. They're not getting any contest on it. They're not putting Leinster's back three under any pressure at all.
Leinster reorganise and reload the gun, albeit just in behind their own 10-metre line. Ross Byrne. Both Osbornes readily available. It's Jamie who takes it to the line.
So there's Andrew that was too keen to support his brother. Went straight in over the top off his feet, sealing off.
No obstruction, but Blue sealing off there straight to floor, preventing a contest.
And these are little footholds that Connacht will hopefully look to make inroads into the scoreboard. Ioane needs to find touch now. Looks like a pretty decent touch too.
Yeah, perhaps wisely, given recent events. Taking a little bit off that one, Josh Ioane. He kicked one dead at the dying embers of the game, and Belfast could have changed the storyline. Similar situation at Thomond Park in round 1. Bundee enjoyed that one. Now can he truck one up off this line out if Connacht can get the ball off the top?
Dave, all good? All right?
They can come under pressure here as well, Connacht. They have a bit of a tendency to have a bit of a meeting before lineouts, and they were at fault last week against Ulster as well. It led to Ulster getting another foothold in their own half towards the end of the game. The referee had warned them and warned them. Get a line, get into the line out, get the ball in.
Oh, good contest at the front. James Ryan in there, almost got hands on. Murray did well.
Ball lifted.
Sean O'Brien. Away he goes.
Check up Yandro.
Good to see that one again now, Jack Aungier.
Clearing the player. You brought him to floor. Release him, please, 18.
He made a good impact. And
18 tackled beyond and to floor.
watch it here now, Jack Aungier coming around. Lines up Andrew Porter. Tackle. Oh, you see them going on right throughout the games. Yeah, he can't clean out too far beyond the ruck, but two men collide like that and one guy is going forward and the other guy is half kind of trying to get out of the situation. One of them is going to end up on the ground.
9, 7 and 2 substitutions. We'll put, you're
9, 7 and 2. So
him,
Dave Heffernan, Ben Murphy and Sean O'Brien called ashore.
Substitutions for Connacht. Number 16, Tierney-Martin. Number 21,
Give it for a big impact. Sorry, Connor, from Sean Jansen now.
Replaced number 2.
Just new to Connacht last season. A few injuries, but did enough to impress Andy Farrell and get into the emerging tour, where he impressed as well. And he's a big ball carrier, brings lots of energy to Connacht. A few big hits as well is required from him. He's straight into the action there as well.
Straight into it on Jamie Osborne. Tough night for young Ben Murphy, both in terms of the pressure he came under from the opposition and the conditions. Charge down on Gibson Park's kick.
No!
Turner did well. Leinster don't panic. How cool does Jamison Gibson Park look, even having had his kick charged down? That's good physicality. Bundee Aki is growing into this task tonight. He's clapping his hands, calling for the ball. Numbers to the left, Connacht go right with Caolin Blade. Big role for him in the final 20 minutes or so to try and get his side back into this game. Josh Ioane takes it to the line again. Blade.
Knock on advantage over.
Aungier. Tight little corridor to work in there for the likes of Shayne Bolton. No options on that short side. Back they come with Dooley. Clarkson in there. Told to leave it. Caolin Blade. Connacht recycle. Bundee Aki. That's clever. It's nice. It's tight. Dylan Tierney-Martin takes two to bring him to ground. Bundee Aki again heavily involved in this passage of play. 2 or 3 times setting the tone, dictating the tempo. Some nice disguise and variation in attack here from Connacht. And now the brute force. Prendergast, the captain, all hands to the wheel now. Josh Ioane is
on the shoulder again for me.
swallowed up. Was it high? Crowd down in that corner thought it was. It'll be checked upstairs and on we go. Connacht now, is there a little bit of composure? Can they pull something out of the fire here? It's going to take something to break down this Leinster rear guard. Blade once more. Paul Boyle this time.
Yes, he's trapped, he's trapped.
Max Deegan can't get out of there, but Caolin Blade can't play the ball really from that position. He has to manufacture a pass that was unorthodox and tricky. He did well. Quickly back to the base of the next ruck as well. Better tempo about Connacht now. Making meters through the contact. Dooley. Exhausting stuff, energy sapping stuff, both in terms of attack and defence. No way through for Boyle this time. And they're back once again to the 22, having been 8 or 9 meters inside it only a couple of phases before that.
Agree. I'm not penalising, you're pinning him in there.
Again, there's a Leinster player in there. Thomas Clarkson that time on the wrong side, no penalty. Blade just had to delay while the referee got in the correct position. Now Blade again, sniping. Paul Boyle. Really good carry. Now is he in touch on that side? Surely he is. It's really good attack from Connacht. It's brilliant defence from Leinster. It's absorbing stuff.
It's great stuff on both sides. Paul Boyle though will rule that now. Going into touch. Spoke about it earlier. Just can't give up that disappointing end to that passenger play from Connacht. But far better. Medican mentioned at half-time. Connacht needs to just tighten up their attack. Make the passes that little bit shorter, attack the little spaces in and outside. Leinster defenders, make them make decisions. Far better from a Connacht perspective, but again, look at that. 3 guys in there. Gary Ringo's in for the steal as well. They just bring huge intensity to everything they do, both sides of the ball, particularly in defence. They've been very, very good tonight. But you can see Pete Wilkins again, he knows that's just a cheap turnover. Such great play, you're fighting for every inch. You get in behind, can't go to touch there.
A couple of changes for Connacht here, and Hugh Gavin coming in, a player we're really looking forward to seeing at this level. We'll concentrate on Leinster's line-out duty just in case they cough it up. The rare occasion they do. Dylan Tierney-Martin. If he is short, which he is, he's only inches. Caolin Blade, a flurry of activity. Cian Prendergast, brilliant sandbagging defence from Leinster. They repel another attack. Paul Boyle doesn't want to get held up, and he is. That is super stuff from Leinster, as important and more so than a try, really, given the circumstances.
It's brilliant. You can see the energy as well that they're playing with. They don't want to give up anything at all. Nothing easy. Every hand on deck. Oh, that was close as well. They might go back and have a look at that one, but Paul Boyle.
Nothing cleared there, Leah.
No, he's asking Timo to have a look,
Yeah,
but that's
cheers.
clearly held up.
There's nothing clear. We're going to play on, lads.
On we go, goal line drop out
Okay, let's go.
into the teeth of the wind. Can Connacht hit straight back, having been so close. Oh, that's brilliant. What a carry from Jansen. Straight over the top. Caolin Blade, Paul Boyle. They've got to score here, Connacht, to try and get themselves into a position to attack Leinster in the final quarter. It's been their best passage of play, best phase of play in the game by a long chalk. Blade once more. Leinster's defence, we saw this at times against Munster last week again, though it's irrepressible the way they bounce back to their feet, commit to rucks that are live, and then re-establish that connection in defence again so quickly. O'Conor, Blade, he certainly brought lots of tempo. That was so difficult for Hawkshaw. He's taken an almighty thump to the shoulder for his troubles. Look at Ross burning the energy. That kind of defensive set gives Leinster again.
Like, as good as Leinster's defence is, and it is, it's hugely impressive. You know, they're still giving up opportunities to Connacht, and it's Connacht's. I know they're under pressure, but again, look at this handling error. Just don't force it, fellas. Just hold on to it. They're getting opportunities. Kind of, we mentioned before the game, Leinster do give up opportunities. It's whether teams are good enough and patient enough to take them. He knows as well. He knows his team have had chances tonight. He knows the scoreboard could be closer at times. And it's just hugely frustrating for the men in green. But this Leinster team, you got to admire them. 26-5 up, make a few changes, but they're playing like, you know, Leo Cullen mentioned it. Like, they're not only their league positions at place, but their individual position on the team is at place. They have such strength and depth. And he mentioned that, you know, they're in an opportunity to make changes, to freshen things up, but also to keep everyone on their toes and keep that competition for places alive, because there's such a roster, such a strength and depth that is probably Leo Cullen's biggest strength, is how he's managed that over the years. People may say he got it wrong coming to business end, but the fact is that they've been in the business end, and rightly they should be with the team they have, but
Make a decision, lads.
they will no doubt be there again come the end of the year.
No, it doesn't look good for David Hawkshaw. Hugely disappointing.
I understand they're trapping you, but just if tactics
Body on the line time and time again. Just couldn't quite grasp that one, and it's the awkward fall with the shoulder exposed and stretched. All the while, Leinster, as you saw, in a huddle. Gary Ringrose and Ross Byrne taking their turns, advising what's next. That's hugely disappointing for David Hawkshaw. In comes Cathal Forde, but Hawkshaw, a player who, well, certainly in his younger days, the early part of his career was beset by injury time after time.
Perfect.
Good replacement in his place, though, as you mentioned with Kieran Frawley, when he unfortunately goes off injured, another man's opportunity, and in this case, Cathal Forde, he's certainly taken his opportunity over the last 18 months. He's so impressive. Arguably could start at 10 as well, the way he's been playing. And a word too for Hugh Gavin on the left wing. You mentioned him coming on a few minutes ago. His dad Barry would have captained Galwegian and Connacht to a famous victory over Northampton Saints in the Challenge Cup back in '97 or so. The story is that somebody rang the clubhouse looking for the result afterwards, and they said the scoreline was, can't remember off the top of my head now, was 47-12, and they said, oh, Connacht didn't do too bad, so they hung in there. They were gladly told on the end of the phone, no, Connacht had won the match. And then they went back and did the trick again a couple of weeks later when they took on Northampton over in the Saints back garden under Warren Gatland. Made two famous wins in the Challenge Cup that year against Northampton's team that was stacked, not just English internationals, but Lions. 5 Lions, I think, that travels to Africa as well. So
step in, Blue.
Hugh Gavin making his debut on the left wing, and a lovely moment for him. I'm sure his dad Barry is full of pride as well.
Advantage, not on
well, if his age grade career is anything to go by, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. Hugh Gavin had 2 brilliant seasons with the Irish under-20s.
Contest play on, turnover good.
6 tries. Huge prospect. He's a big lump of a young man. There he is wearing number 23.
Okay, Green, just wait.
All the while, though, the clock is ticking away. We're well inside the final quarter, and that sustained period of Connacht pressure ultimately has come to nothing, and at the expense of a nasty-looking injury to David Hawkshaw. Still, they find themselves in good field position at least.
You just wonder, can they get anything out of this game now from a Connacht perspective? Can they get back within 7? You know, a couple of scores, but a huge disappointment if they come away empty-handed.
7.
Playing at home against Leinster, packed house, even with the redevelopment going on in the background, as you can see.
One receiver.
It hasn't quite hit the heights of their performances so far this year, and that's been the most frustrating aspect from Pete Wilkins' point of view. So 16, 17 minutes left. It's time to put something on the scoreboard yet.
Prendergast in the thick of the fight, quite literally there to try and present the ball back on the Connacht side. Eventually he manages it. Bundee Aki, Ioane, Cathal Forde, and away he goes, and they're going to get themselves back in the hunt. Cathal Forde, what an instant impact from Connacht's best player of the season so far. That's what he can do given half a chance. Simple line break straight through the middle. Connacht have their second try of the evening.
Well, he's been the catalyst of everything that's been good about Connacht so far this season. Sparked that comeback against the Sharks a couple of weeks ago. And he chipped in chase for his own try. And that's just Cathal Forde at his best. He's shown such an array of talent over the last 4 or 5 weeks at the start of the season. His kicking game has improved. Off the tee as well. He won Connacht the game against the Scarlets over in Wales. As I mentioned there, he got them back in the game against Sharks when he slotted into 10. And tonight, you know, he's known for making contact and carrying on meters beyond contact, but they're straight through a gap. Look at that footwork, showed the ball, little dummy, and the pace then to finish it out.
Yeah, that's much better. Timely score. The unfortunate circumstance of Dave Hawkshaw's exit. The try for Cathal Forde, and perhaps, albeit a tall order still, a route back into the game for something for Connacht. Oh, what a take that is! Straight from the kick-off! Andrew Osborne, take a bow. Cancels out Cathal Forde's try in the blink of an eye.
Well, every kick is only made a good kick if you have a good chase. And he read that to perfection. The wind obviously holding it up as well. Eyes on the prize. Oh, he just robs it out of Cathal Forde's hands. Brilliant try. Caught it on the turn as well, didn't break stride.
Try for Leinster, scored by number 11, Andrew Osborne.
Great skill.
Shades of Mac Hansen in Paris against France in the Six Nations on Connacht's home ground. Lovely moment for Andrew Osborne, and in among the celebrations, his brother as well. Takes all the requisite time, as he's entitled to do, and makes it count with 2 from the kicking tee for Ross Byrne. 33 points to 12, and all that energy and enthusiasm garnered by the Cathal Forde try snuffed out in an instant.
Yeah, just when you felt Connacht were getting some air back in the tyres. Killer blow dealt. Feels probably the final nail in the coffin. You know, at 26-12, you're thinking, right, another try and a conversion back within a losing bonus point. What could they conjure up from there? But
it's brought back in.
You feel that could be the killer blow for them.
Ioane.
Can use it.
Darragh Murray. into the hands of his brother Niall Murray. And there wearing number 19, and Bundee Aki this time hit hard in the tackle, forced back. Oh, Jansen has made another incisive break. Strong running, he has carried very, very well. You'd expect that from him. Where was that kind of gain line success for Connacht in the opening 40, 50 minutes of the game? It's been provided by Forde and Jansen. Caolin Blade certainly has made a difference in terms of tempo.
Big impact by Seán Jansen. Looks like he's got confidence. Injury-free. Big tour. Emerging South Africa, or the Emerging Ireland Tour in South Africa.
See very support neither.
Another opportunity for Connacht. Half gap.
We're talking about giving up those line breaks and offering up opportunities. The official stats are telling us at this moment in time that Leinster have missed 26 of 107 tackles.
It seems like a lot, doesn't it?
It is a lot.
And yet they don't really feel to be stretched either at times. Like they just, someone missed a tackle, there's another 2 or 3 guys scrambling hard indeed, covering across.
Max Deegan did not miss that one.
Okay, 9, leave it now, ball lost, use it. 9,
again, initially it was strong from Jansen. Aungier back inside to his captain Prendergast. Dooley over at play scrum half, decent delivery to Bundee Aki. Is there anything from a little bit deeper from the likes of Cathal Forde again? Blade. Aungier to Jansen. Just give it to that man. Aungier over the top. This would be quite something. Spilled forward from Gibson Park.
Okay. Knock on by Blue. Scrum green.
But again, you can see, you know, when you get on the front foot, you're getting in half gaps. Lovely little interplay here. They have just tightened it up.
Okay, 2 and 9.
Slightly and getting through those half gaps. That's maybe again another flaw. Leinster's defence. They want to stand outside
just
there.
9, sorry.
The opposite man indeed. Come really hard. They do give little dog legs. You know, it's a system that's been lauded. It's not without its flaws though.
Leinster debut for Stephen Smith and Fintan Gunn in for Jameson Gibson Park.
Well, you mentioned about Gus McCarthy and the opportunity he has with the likes of Kelleher and Sheehan out injured, and yet he's feeling the heat from Stephen Smith coming up behind him as well. You know, they just have a conveyor belt, it seems, at hooker. With Stephen Smith playing under 20s level over the last couple of years as well, starting against New Zealand in that 3rd place playoff during the World Cup.
Crouch! Bind!
Another man with a big future ahead of him.
Yeah, quick scan through the names, and you're up at 6 or 7 of Richie Murphy's Irish under 20 back-to-back Grand Slam winning sides of a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I understand that, but I don't see you solid either, okay? Yeah. Let's go, boys! Let's go, steady on, take a bit off here.
Fintan Gunn, excellent player as well. So much expected of him over the course of the next couple of years or so. St Michael's and Tierney-Martin. Ireland's under 20 starting scrum half for back-to-back Six Nations campaigns.
Let's get a quick reset here, okay? Set left. Both height. Both height needs to be better, okay? So feet up, pulling down, head and shoulders up. Yeah. I want the same. Crouch! Bind! Set!
30 plus points in their opening 3 games, 26 last week, 20 tries in 4 games for Leinster, and they're already 5 to the good this evening. Connacht trying to hit back again. That was tricky for Cathal Forde. He couldn't hold it.
Just a knock-on advantage.
Gun to Rossburn, who spotted acres of space in behind. Couldn't quite get the angle in behind Piers O'Conor.
He's done very well there to just bide a bit of time for his team to get back and support him. They have an opportunity here, overlap.
Prendergast. What can they manufacture here with Gavin? First real foray for him in Connacht colours. Takes it up beyond halfway. Bundee Aki now to Ioane. Options to the left-hand side and a little bit of open country in front of O'Conor. Slings it out this way to Dylan Tierney-Martin. Keenan comes across.
Green first. Johnny.
It should be a Leinster put-in, you feel, to a scrum after the initial knock-on.
Good interplay, Conor. Sorry, just could have crossed you there. Probably had the wrong man in the right place, or wrong man in the right place in terms of Dylan Tierney-Martin. And he maybe a bit more pace there, but he felt he was isolated and did the right thing, tried to keep the ball alive. He could feel Osborne coming in for the counter ruck.
Placement for Leinster.
Another error from Connacht after some good play.
23, Hugh.
But here's that man, Stephen Smith, back from the immersion tour to Ireland as well.
Interesting to chart his progress. Another big shift for Gus McCarthy. Already played a significant amount of rugby this early in the season. Hugh Cooney in for his debut as a replacement for Leinster's
left of the mark.
Second try scorer of the evening, Liam Turner on that wing. Another huge talent. Like for like swap, he'll go on to the wing, but very comfortable. Had most of his under-20s rugby in the centre. Some of it with Hugh Gavin, who's come in for his Connacht debut as well.
Yeah, they formed a great partnership in the centre with Ireland. 26 Nations 2023. Another man who's very comfortable with ball in hand, identifying space, good offloading game.
18 dropping his bind and going straight to floor.
And Leinster are getting on top in the scrum as well now, since all the changes were made. That's 2 or 3 where they've got on top and they're getting the reward.
It's a raft of half a dozen changes and a couple of reset scrums, and all the oxygen's been sucked out of the balloon, really, from a Connacht point of view for now at least. Just 5 minutes remaining now.
6,170.
Yeah, Jack Aungier there, straight in front of the referee.
Support of Connacht and a safe journey home.
Okay, Green, hold the mark
straight
now,
back out
please.
behind him. Face planting to the ground is never a good picture to paint the referee.
James Ryan, will he call it on himself all the way over the back? That's a little bit askew from the replacement hooker. In difficult conditions.
Okay, Green, half away, Blue.
To give him his due. Connacht ball, can they do something with it? Think how hard they've had to work for those 2 tries. As the sum total of their efforts for the opening 74 minutes here. 2 quick fire scores to get a losing bonus point, or a try bonus point rather. Tall order against this well-marshalled Leinster rearguard. Been pretty frugal in defence. Ball is slow for Caolin Blade. Annoyingly so for the Connacht support. Bundee Aki, 180 pirouette and offload out of the tackle. O'Conor support on the outside from Bolton, back inside to his fullback. Good tackle in among all of that from young Stephen Smith. And likewise a disrupting one from Andrew Porter.
And another error from Connacht just when you feel they're on the front foot, playing some lovely phases.
Okay. Turn on.
Good tackle by Scott Penny again. We talk about that scramble D.
Time's off.
And Darragh Murray, oh, he's frustrated himself with that one.
Yeah.
But Leinster as well, you know, they have a knack of landing on the wrong side of a ruck. They got away with a few there. The referee saying no, he's pinned in. But it's just their cleverness around the rucks. It's their counter-rucking at the ruck as well. You know, it's very rarely a team will get 3 or 4 quick ball rucks against them. Not surprised by that at all.
That's one of the easier calls of the evening.
No. He's fallen into the tackle.
Archie Snyman.
Looks like a man that's enjoying himself, doesn't he?
The head's come down.
Why wouldn't he?
That's our call.
Playing like that as well, making the game look easy.
Yeah.
Brilliant to watch. X Factor all about him.
Yeah. We've seen him.
You consider the amount of pressure at times that Leinster have been under defensively. They've only conceded 5 penalties in 76 minutes. They haven't allowed Connacht any easy access, really.
Perfect. Sorry, lads. Mark's up here.
Home to the Lions next up for Leinster before they go up to Belfast to play Ulster before the before the break, and then they're into Europe, the likes of Bristol and Claremont. It's the Dragons and then the Bulls, as I mentioned. The Bulls the far side of the November break.
Stay along for me again.
Ulster's trip to Belfast, likewise at the end of November.
Again, they've been formidable tonight. You'd have to argue that they've been in total control, apart from you know, that opportunity by Connacht to get back in the game at 14-5. And you're thinking at half-time they're right in it. But the score just before half-time, the score just after half-time really killed off this game. They've been full of value, and I guarantee you Leo Cullen will be saying there's more room for improvement. It wasn't quite the full 80 performance.
Under pressure and feet straight to
and I think worryingly, for everyone else out there, he's right. They're still not at full pelt yet.
And straight to floor.
And that's the exciting thing about this Leinster squad. You know, what height's going to get to this year.
Apologies. Sorry, sir.
Because when they're on fire, they're as good, if not better, than most other teams around. Brilliant to watch.
Just open up here, so
Ladies and gentlemen, the BKT
It's all about
United Rugby
managing the resources. You roll out the big guns 2 weeks in a row, you make 7 changes. You lose a player like Kieran Froley, you bring in a guy like Ross Byrne with his experience to steady the ship. Difficult away day in Galway in tricky conditions, and it's a facile win in the end.
Advantage knock on in the air by Green. Okay.
Another 5 tries, another 5 points on top of the ledger.
Okay. Use it! Don't play the 9.
Scarlets, as I said, doing Leinster a little bit of a favour, beating the Bulls this weekend. The Lions, 4 wins from 4 so far. The Sharks, looking at their team sheet, will be and should be a much better side over the course of a long season this year. But as they often are, Leinster, the benchmark.
Knock and line out.
Very scrappy now the last 5 minutes or so, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's credit to Leinster as well that just making a scrap out of everything.
Okay,
They give up nothing easy. Like when you consider, looking at the stats here, Connacht have a 62% of possession, 61 in the first half, 61 in the second half. Like, you know, to be so far behind the score, we're 33-12, you have to scratch your head when you see that. But Leinster have been so efficient and effective anytime going into the Connacht 22. They played with such pace and power and precision. Connacht couldn't live with. And on the flip side of that, Connacht, even with the possession they've had, they've been so frustratingly error-prone. Whether it's kick to touches off penalties from Ioane, whether it's a few lineouts that went astray as well, just when they were getting a foothold into the game, running to touch, a few knock-ons, just hasn't been at the standard they would have hoped for across the 80 minutes.
Okay, let's go, Leinster. Let's go, 21.
Scott Penny's been sparsely used in the early part of this season. When you consider back to the start of last season's campaign, he was wearing the captain's armband.
16 halfway up the ruck and playing the arm with a 9. Let's keep playing, please.
Is that James Ryan asking, are we able to run the clock down? Not too sure what he meant by that. Maybe tee up a kick a goal or something and bang it to touch from there, but still have to play out the 80 minutes.
Okay, take the line again, please.
Well, they know. Say fait
on the line,
accompli.
on the 10 metre, please.
As always, plenty of food for thought for Leo Cullen, but a rudimentary victory on the road. It's been the history of this fixture in recent times, going all the way back to a game in 2018, toward the end of the season that year, when 1 or 2 Connacht stalwarts were making their last appearance. John Muldoon among them, taking conversions. That was the last time Connacht beat Leinster at this ground. 47 points to 10, a different story tonight, and it's been a different story from very early in the game when Jimmy Osborne scored the first of 5 tries for Leinster after only 6 minutes. Too good, too strong. RG Snyman, a menace, and the player of the match, and it's 5 wins out of 5 for the team that are top of the table by a distance now after 5 rounds of the URC. Couple of debuts, couple of injury concerns. A tough night at the office for Cian Prendergast and Connacht, who get nothing out of their 3rd Interpro of the season. RG Snyman on target again, scored the 3rd try, 2 and 2 for him. Andrew Osborne scoring a brilliant try off a kickoff, so 2 for the Osbornes tonight. in Leinster blue. Comprehensive in the end. Connacht 12, Leinster 33 in Galway.
Thank you, Conor. It means that Leinster moved to 25 points for the season out of a potential 25. That's some going. They are, by some distance, the form team in the URC this season. What are your thoughts overall, Ian Madigan?
Very clinical again from Leinster, similar to last week against Munster, that made it really difficult for Connacht to score. The 2 tries they did get, they had to work really hard for it. After each of the tries that Connacht did get, Leinster bounced back immediately, in particularly that man there, Andrew Osborne, off the Rossburn restart. In fairness to Connacht, I thought they played a lot of good rugby in the second half. They probably deserved to score a try around the 60-minute mark, which would have made a real contest of it. But look, Leinster were very comfortable there, and another very good performance from Max Deegan in picture there as well.
A little bit similar to their previous games, Mike. Most of the hard work was done in the first half, and it felt like they were cruising a bit in the second half.
Yeah, kind of felt they took their foot off the gas a bit in the second half, kind of similar to the game last week against Munster. Not sure if that's to do with, feeling the job's already done, but I think they just completely suffocated Connacht and strangled them. Times where Connacht came back into the game that second half, the one off the kick-off where Leinster win it and score, just took the kind of took the energy out of them in terms of any kind of comeback, but they were just kind of beaten in all facets of game, whether it's the physicality in defence or the carry. Just an overwhelming performance really by Leinster, and Connacht have to be really worried about their defence. They've leaked a lot of tries this season. I think 5 tries today they've conceded?
6.
6 tries today. So,
no, sorry, 5, yeah, 5.
5 tries, so massively worrying. All the good stuff they do in attack, because they do score tries. They've scored a lot of tries this season. Defence on the other side of the ledger is a big concern as they go further on throughout the URC.
Got a shot of Paul Boyle and Cian Prendergast there. Their back row didn't really get into it.
Yeah,
as we had hoped, that was one of the big battles we were most looking forward to.
Yeah, and I think me and Mads have been there in the past. Potentially there's been a big game, and you've got to put a big performance in, and sometimes you do put a big performance in, sometimes you come up a bit short, and that feeling of going off the pitch knowing it was a home game, you had a chance to express yourself, put a big performance in, and